All right, welcome everyone. Let me just make sure that Nate knows to just click on bit.ly/CoronaTV after show.
All right, the link's not clickable, but let me.
Yeah, just type bit.ly/CoronaTV after show, and we are on waiting for you.
Okay.
As you're doing that, there are a bunch of people that are on. Amy Rika said, "What a generous presentation, thank you." And Bob Heyman said, "Bravo." So they're waiting for you there. I'm going to end the show officially.
There's Chip Griffin. We get to find out what the Granite State is.
Yeah. I think Joseph was just pulling my leg there. I hope.
Tell you what the nutmeg state is.
Is that your little sound effect, Joseph, or is it one of us?
Is it me?
Master of his domain, Joseph Garrett.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Hey, Wendy. Yeah.
Hey Tom.
How are you?
What a great show, Joe. Nate, great show.
It was.
Is Nate here?
Not yet. He's on the way. Oh, there he is.
He's there.
Be good.
Nate, you're muted.
I'm turning on my AirPods because I think that was me causing that echo.
Yeah, it was. I was checking if it was me as well. There we go. Hello, everybody. Wow, we've got Bob. I always like to see my previous guests, Joey and Wendy and Bob, and welcome everybody. Welcome. And happy. Where's Joey? Happy birthday, Joey! Officially, where I can see your face.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Joey.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Happy birthday.
Look
at you, Pfizer, already.
Yes, now I'm in my mid 50s. I can say that I'm super wise. And that's how it works.
So what do we all think today? As there's Nate, he's back.
Nate, it was unbelievable, right? I mean, it was that kind of effortless report of mastery. It's like the old videos of Michael Jordan with the effortless flying to the basket. I mean, you can tell when a guy has done it at a certain level, Nate. You just make it, you just boil it down and you give us the simple essence, which always is the test of real mastery for anything. So we were all really blessed by your generosity today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, glad you found
I agree, and Joe made a great Scottie Pippen.
He did. That's right. It takes two. It's always a partnership, right? I love hearing about how Nate partnered up with people along the way. And I'm sure, Nate, you learned a lot by doing that, not just a solo enterprise, but you interact with others and you get special insights that way. So it was great to hear.
Well, there's a lot of stuff as well. YouTube has, I didn't show it today, but YouTube has this thing called a silver play button. It's like the equivalent of a platinum record or a gold record. And I think what they've done really well, what Google's done really well, and specifically YouTube, is they've really created a very solid ecosystem for creators and producers. And I think what you realize is there's a lot more. It's not even science. There's more structure. It's a real business, and it's and so that's the one point. And the other thing that really struck me today is I was saying to Nate, as you guys know, my wife has started an Instagram account called Things I Love 203, and she's been doing it for a couple months now. And recently we found a I don't know, got an email or I saw an ad on Instagram, go figure, talking about how to build an Instagram presence. And there was like a master class, a webinar, free. So we did it, and it was about an hour. And then right at the end was an upsell to do a course. Now the course had been marked down from $2,000 to $1,000. To me, that seemed very expensive. And then at the same time, I was worried about, like, is this a get rich quick scheme? Are these guys credible or trustworthy? There was a 1-year money back guarantee. I mentioned this to Nate at the beginning while we were talking offline. And he said something, I think, and then I'll let him jump in after it. He said, well, it's all relative, right? What is $1,000 a lot of money to invest in a business? I'm paraphrasing, right? Over a 1-year period of time? No, it isn't. He said, and what's the downside? Well, the downside is you spent or invested $1,000 and it didn't pay off. The upside is, limitless. But what he did say is so I said, well, how do you know who's believable and who isn't? And because everyone seems to have the same stories, right? They get, this person went from zero to hero. And he said, look, you got to do your research and you've got to get to see credentials and credibility, at the end of the day. But I just found it really interesting to kind of look at it. Now, suddenly I'm thinking like, damn, maybe I should have spent the $1,000 on this Instagram program, because the fact is, and then I'll turn it to him, is we really don't know what the hell we're doing. When you talk to someone like a Nate, you realize how much rigor and process, this is like basic training. They are, this isn't just get up and run a marathon, right, Nate? I mean, this is about training.
Well, yeah. One thing that came to my mind is you're talking about, like, how do you know what program I should join, or is this program the real deal? Is it going to work for me? I like to pull back the curtains when I'm talking to people, because I've got one of my offers costs 6 figures, and I typically get one person each month that hires me for that. But in order to get the trust of a client, I have to let them know, this is why I think this is a fit for you, and this is why it's not a fit for other people. And I also let them know, here are the challenges you're going to face, and here's why. If you're looking for reasons why not to do this, here are some of those reasons. And you know what? You don't need to make a decision right now. Think about it. Make sure you're making a really good decision. I'm not going to twist their arm, especially, could you imagine somebody, hiring me for that much and then canceling and wanting a refund? I'm like, I don't even want to. So with any program, it's like, is the person that's selling it, have they told me about any of the cons to this program? Have they told me that this works for everybody? Or have they told me who this works for and who it doesn't work for? And you do have to take chances. I mean, you can only do so much research. So if you're going to invest $1,000, be okay that, I might lose this. So
I think you have to be okay with it. And also, I mean, the thing that I took away is, how on earth do any of us, for example, I mean, I know, Wendy, you do content as well. Like, how do any of us think we're going to just miraculously make it without help and support?
You're not.
I have a question, Nate.
Yeah.
Of all the things you talked about today, especially the five principles or the 5 keys, the one thing you did not mention at all, and I'm wondering, okay, you do those 5 things, and this question may arise: quality of the video. Just in terms of, okay, what's the quality of the camera you use? What's the quality of your software? What's the quality of your audio? How professional do you have to get for those 5 things to work at their best? Or to flip the question around, how amateurish can those elements be, and still those 5 keys will do their magic?
Very good question. Everyone wants to know that, because the technology or the equipment can hold us back. We want it to look the best. We want it to come across as professional. The reality is, what you say is way more important than anything else. My friend Grant Thompson, he passed away a little over a year ago. He taught me an awesome lesson. His channel, The King of Random, it still lives on today with other people in the episodes. He would put a lot of time. I mean, he told me some of his episodes, he spent 60 hours making one episode with the prototyping. He did a lot. He's kind of like MacGyver meets Bill Nye the Science Guy, right? And he was getting really frustrated because his channel was extremely successful. I mean, his income was a few $100,000 every month. And he felt like I've got a wonderful family and I'm not spending any time with them. So he was contemplating quitting his channel. This is going back 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Well, one thing happened. One of his and a lot of his videos, he used liquid nitrogen. Well, a lot of people would comment and say things like, what if you got liquid nitrogen on your face? Or what if it made you go blind? You need to be more careful with that. So he pulled out his phone, in selfie mode. He says, all right, guys, you do have to be careful with liquid nitrogen, but I really know what I'm doing. I know the parameters to keep myself safe. And I want to show you what happens when you get liquid nitrogen on your face. So he had a cup and he goes, okay. So he took 2 minutes to film this episode. He posted that to his channel and it got millions of views. His other videos got millions of views, but this one got millions of views. And why? It wasn't highly produced. He didn't have his fancy gear. He didn't have the lighting, or it was just a selfie video. It's because what he was sharing was interesting. People want, what did he do? And so, that's always stuck with me, that the quality of what you're sharing, the answer that you're giving to this question, that's what people are there for. And I mean, there's little things that you can do. Like, I'm facing a window right now. If I turned around the other way and had the window behind me, that might be, harmful to people's eyes. Or if I were far away from the camera and the audio was hard to hear, and that could be irritating. But I mean, if you're facing a window and you got the camera this close to you, the sound's going to be great. I definitely start there and only upgrade, only invest in gear when you have a specific reason for doing it.
That's good. That's a great answer. Thanks.
Hey, Nate, I have a couple questions for you. First and foremost, is that Dumbledore's wand behind you? Okay.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah.
That's a monopod with a little. So it's not. That would be cool.
Yes, it is. That's the answer to your question.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Yeah.
You're a wizard online. So my question, though, you mentioned viral, and coming from I've been an ad man for 20 years, recently retired. But how do you differentiate between a viral video and one that gets a million?
Well, we can easily talk about that in the times of pandemic, right? So a virus spreads from one person to the next. And so when we talk about something going viral on Facebook, it's like, ooh, I saw this post, I liked it, I shared it with my friends, they liked it, they shared it with their friends. Well, YouTube doesn't have really a good social component. It's actually really hard for things to go viral on YouTube. If we watch a video that we really like and we want to share, we have to share it through an email or a text message or Facebook Messenger or post it on Facebook. So it's really not a social platform. So that's what I mean by viral. But YouTube has a very good promotion engine that it can figure out, okay, what's profitable for us or what is trending. And so there are videos that kind of go viral. It's different. It's more of a YouTube kind of makes it viral, but it's not spreading like a virus. It's more of a promotion strategy on YouTube.
Got it. And one more question. Do you have you talk about 10-minute videos and kind of like people selling themselves or their product. Do you equate any of Joe Rogan's success to YouTube?
No, I really don't know. Let me speak to Gary Vaynerchuk, because Joseph talked about putting content on every platform, and Gary Vaynerchuk really talks a lot about that. Well, I've not seen any celebrity or any influencer on any platforms that actually got there by spamming every platform. They've gotten big on one platform first, and then they translate that, and they go, once they've gotten the momentum, they've gotten the success on one, they then crank it up on another platform. And that's how it was for Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know where Joe Rogan started. Obviously, he's got a huge podcast and he puts it on YouTube. He's got a unique animal there, but you can't really, if you're putting all your eggs into 10 baskets, how can you really follow any solid strategy that's going to make one work? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I asked just because in the sense that like Joseph's show is long form content, right? And Joe Rogan, historically, it started out as a podcast. And what I think differentiated him too is that he did a very high level production. of his show, and then he put it on video. So it wasn't like just podcasting. It was for people who wanted to watch the celebrities or the interviews he was having. It was also a video, and that was his strategy on YouTube. And then when he went to Spotify, that was, removed. I just didn't know if you knew anything as far as how that equated to any of his success. So thanks.
Yeah, nothing specific. The only thing that I'll add is I love finding examples of success that match what I want to do. So if you look at Joe Rogan, you're like, you know what, that's exactly the type of business that I want to create, then it's important to look back and say, okay, what did he start with? How did he do it? What was the production quality that was important for him? When did he go to YouTube? How did he do it? And that's how I break down everything. It's like, all right, I want to get that result. And so for me, I found a new strategy. No one had done what I wanted to do or what I thought was possible for how-to type content on YouTube. And in fact, I think it was you, Tom, that alluded to me partnering with people. In the beginning, I couldn't sell my service. Like the big package that I wanted to sell, I couldn't even sell it at cost because I didn't have a track record of it. So I went to Chris Crone, I went to Paul Jenkins and said, hey, here's my idea. Let's do this in partnership. We'll share the future profits. And it worked. And the strategy totally worked. Now I have a track record of success. So now I can sell my services. So
that's a great story.
I have to say, that there sometimes it's very clear the nugget or one of the most valuable insights or pieces of advice. But nature said it right there. Find examples of successes that match exactly the type of success you're looking for. And then, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And that combined with the fact that what we typically do, Joey, Leslie, Amy, I'm looking at all my brothers and sisters that come from the marketing and digital media space. We're all a business, and our lives are all a business of quant, not qual, right? Of tonnage. So if we were doing that SEM rush strategy, we'd be looking for the largest number of searches. And what Nate is saying is, go for the smallest number with the most number of words because you're instantly number one, basically, or you have a better chance. So I think that is another insight. That's the silver medal, the silver play. But the gold medal was what you said just now. The silver medal is this idea of this is about quality over time, conforming to the 5 rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. I never would have thought to go that route of the low volume, be the number one in the low volume terms. That I actually put a comment in on the Facebook feed about. That was my big aha. Though it does, as you said, the algorithm takes 4 months before maybe you'll or so before pick up on that. But still, that was. You're right. Everything in my bones would have said, go for scale, go for it. So thank you for that. I have a few clients. I think I'm going to refer to your channel and refer to you because there's some small business media publishers that are struggling with monetizing their content, and I think they would.
And Leslie, it's very empowering and very motivating because for obviously this is a very personal episode for me because I look at what I'm doing with the show, and we're all part of this rising tide. But what Nate's basically saying is, hey, listen, if you think you missed the boat, you didn't miss the boat at all. There's just a lot more. There's just a lot more traffic in the water, but you absolutely can win the regatta if you like, regatta. But I mean, but you're going to have to do a few different things along the way. And I feel again like my gut says to me that you know what, I know that in 2 years' time there are going to be people going, damn, I wish I would have taken advantage of that COVID moment, 2020, to have started this thing.
Yeah, the other thing was the amount of episodes. The 4 episodes, 5 episodes a week, 5 episodes a week. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of having produced a lot of training content. Sitting to get when we did our on-demand trainings, the amount of hours it took to produce a 20-minute training video, and by the way, the note about the giving your editor doing stopping, having a few seconds of silence so your video editors know that's where they're going to do some, good room for editing was great also, because that's something. Our video editor was a TV broadcast editor, our first one we used, and she had lots of little cues for me to know when, like, I knew when I had to stop, so she was going to make some edits and do some transitions and other stuff. So that was great.
The irony, Leslie, is like when he's saying that, I'm thinking like that will tell me when I'm editing my own video, because I've been doing it all by myself. And as opposed to thinking about actually having help or someone to do it for you. But that's just the solo entrepreneur. Like I got to snap out of that. But I think that there's I think another, insight and best practice is that I'm thinking, like, you can see my brain, because it's the wrinkles are forming. Additional wrinkles are forming. But the idea is, well, I do a 1 hour show with a 30-minute after show. What are you telling me, that there aren't 5 10 to 12-minute episodes, mini-sodes in 90 minutes of content, right? And I do this 5 times a week. What if this was once a week, and that once a week created 5 of these 10 to 12-minute videos, and all those 10 to 12-minute videos were, themselves, created through using SEMrush. I mean, I think that's just a different approach, but it's one that says you're going to bet the farm on YouTube and maybe use the other ones, right? The other ones as just a little bit of not fluff, but ingredients in terms of comments and creating a little bit of engagement. But ultimately, YouTube is the channel. So that could be another approach. I'm thinking out loud, but I'm like,
and then of course there are intermediate approaches, right, Joe? So if it's not a choice between you're going to do the big show 5 times a week or 1 time a week, you could decide to do it 2 or 3 times a week. Otherwise, your regular is going to be wandering around the country saying, what do I do with myself midday? You can do 2 or 3 shows a week and use the snippets, on those days and other days.
I'm not going to forsake you, Tom. I'm not going anywhere.
Good, because otherwise I just sit and think, and that's dangerous. Nate, I got to ask Nate this. I don't want to interrupt the flow of thought here, but Nate, do you have a next stage for your adventure, or is the next stage just continuing to drill down on this adventure and helping other people be successful in this way? Do you see any kind of switch or change or transformation in your life coming up? Because you're still a young guy, right? And so I'm always, my dad used to say to me, life is supposed to be a series of adventures. The one you're on now is preparing you for the next one in ways sometimes you can't even imagine. So I wonder, having had this much success at your still young age, how do you think about the future?
Well, as we're talking, I love to share, and I love to share gems of knowledge. So I'm going to share 2 things. And then yours. So I feel like I want to share my principle of filming in bulk. I want to talk about the Philippines, and then I'll talk about what's next. So when I started with Chris Crone, he was a busy guy. And at the time, we were only going to launch 1 episode per week. But to think about scheduling a time each week to get with him and film an episode, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. So we started filming 10 episodes at a time. Wow. And we only had to do that once every 10 weeks. A couple of years go by, we think, all right, we need to increase this to 5 episodes per week so we can get those spikes. And what we did, we scheduled a full day of filming. We filmed 20 episodes in a single day. Wow. And that meant we just meet once every 4 weeks. And that's what I started implementing with all my clients. So when my clients come here to film, we film 20 episodes in a day. This week, we've got 2 clients coming in with 2 full days of 20 episodes each. So it is a lot of work. 20 episodes, 5 episodes a week is a lot, but if you can be strategic, you do your keyword research, you got your 20 titles, and then you just outline the talking points for all of those. You can get all those done in a 9 to 5 day. So it's still a ton of work, but I highly recommend that. Then to talk about editing, did you know you can find a full-time video editor in the Philippines that's very, very skilled in the Philippines for $450 per month. So I've got a whole team. I've got 15 full-time people in the Philippines. The reason the Philippines, there's a lot of reasons, we could have another conversation, but their English is very Americanized. So we can have a conversation with them that we understand each other very easily. They're very loyal. They need the work. They're planning on giving up 6 months of their life to go work on a cruise ship or something, or go to another island, hoping to send home $300 a month. So when we can pay them $450, it's a win-win, and they're amazing people. Okay, so what's next for me? This house that I'm in is my studio house. For the previous 2 years, my filming studio was Airbnb. We would rent a vacation rental and use that as our filming studio to film those 20 episodes in a day. Well, I just bought this home. It's huge. It's like 7,300 square feet. And we've got so many different options right now, and there's going to be more in the future. So over the next year, I'm just doing more and more things in each room that's a different filming scenario. So that's kind of one thing that's on the horizon. Really, I haven't done any marketing. Everything that's come to me has been referral. And speaking. So when I speak at events, they'll track me down afterwards and want to hire me. But that's one thing that I've really been doing differently the last couple months. I've been testing out marketing, and I've actually created a course, because I've never sold a course for what I do. And so that's, I guess, in 2021, that's what I'm launching, is actually a way that I can help the masses instead of just, one new client each month.
That's good. Very good. Cool.
Can I ask just one quick question?
Of course.
I noticed, Nate, that you said it's mostly how-to videos. That's really kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, because my expertise has really leveraged that search engine, and the words how to are typically how people start most of their questions. It doesn't have to be how to, but for somebody who's an expert and they've built their business around their expertise, whether that's through public speaking or coaching, or they sell courses, this strategy works extremely well just by answering these how-to questions on YouTube. So there's a lot of different strategies, but that's what my strategy focuses on.
But this has just been, for me, this has been fantastic, because I'm, I create content. I do a lot of different things, and I'm always stuck in, if there's something that I want to teach, because I taught inventors and I taught for many years, right, in speaking and education. But now and I love the short format, the 10 to 12 minutes. I have a 5-minute podcast that I do. And it's just really honed me in and focused me in on where I should be, where I need to be, how, the how-to. It's like, what knowledge do I have that I can give somebody on how to do all of these things, but then have a strategy and have some smarts behind it. So thank you. It was really good. This was really great, Joe and Nate. Really great.
Hey,
Yeah,
Nate,
absolutely.
could I ask one more question, and then I'll try to shut up? But my final question,
Good luck.
because you mentioned these rooms in the house and these different filming locations. In the early days of infomercials on TV, when a guy wanted to pitch real estate stuff, he'd always be in this beautiful setting in Hawaii, right, with the palm trees and the ocean sparkling. Have you found it's of any importance, the kind of aspirational mood of the video, the backdrop of a video? Should it match the content that's being talked about, or should it just be a general feel-good, aspirational, or should it be an I'm an expert message sent by the backdrop? In other words, what's the difference setting seems to make, if any?
Yeah. That's a good question. There's a variety of exceptions to the recommendation that I'll give, but if you're gonna film on a green screen, or compare that to having your living room in the background or your kitchen in the background, when people feel like, wow, I get to go inside Nate's home, or I get to go inside Tom's home, I get to see what it's like, then people feel like they can relate more. Here's a quick example. One video I filmed with Chris Crone, he was down in his game room and he was sitting on his pool table, and we just filmed the whole video with him sitting in one place. When that video performed well, we wanted to create the same episode, but make it better. And what we did to make it better is I filmed him walking in through his front door. So he's talking while we're walking. And so we get to see his front room. He went and got some ice water in the kitchen. And then we went downstairs back to the game room. And just the fact that people feel like you're inviting them into your home, I found to be really successful. I have taken a trip to Cancun, Mexico. I went with Chris and I went with Grant Thompson, and we filmed some of those type videos on the beach or on, up on this patio overlooking the ocean and stuff. There is some reason why you do that. It's like you see examples of success. You kind of want to believe, all right, this person, but it can go over the top, certainly. Like, not to throw Chris under the bus at all, because I have so much appreciation for the 5.5 years we worked together. I saw a recent video of his where he's got the top down on his BMW i8 and he's got his foot up on the windshield, and he's kind of like, if you want to be successful, and I'm just like, that's kind of taking it to the extreme. Yeah. So going back to the green screen comment, you can go a bit technical and take away that personal element versus, right now, this is my office, this is real furniture and stuff. People, it's like a Zoom call, it feels like, okay, we're on Zoom, we're having a conversation. So if you can even do that type of thing in your YouTube videos, I feel that can be an asset.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, Tom, since you mentioned it, I was going to say something before, but number one, it sounds to me like you're a little bit, you have so much to offer, I think, and it sounds to me like you're a little bit stuck on, you're worried about the quality, right? Of if you were to create a video, you're kind of worried about, well, how do I do that? I have to have a really good quality. I got to make sure my audio is right? And that's not necessarily true. And here's why. Because I come from direct response. I come from the infomercial world, and some of the biggest $100 billion sellers were the worst productions ever, right? Wow. So the Snuggie, any chopper that you've seen, it costs, Vince spent $1,000 to do the ShamWow, right? Yeah. In production, right? That made hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's really about the content and then the marketing, I think, of it to get your traffic in to be.
It's good to hear you and Nate both say that, right? Because as a philosopher, do I have to get my toga dry cleaned, or is it okay just to depend on content? I got content busting out my ears, and it's just a matter of do I try to serve people in this way or not? So Nate, you've given me some great ideas today. And
I don't think we should be giving you any ideas. I also need you right there. Don't.
And please don't wear a toga. No togas, Tom.
No togas. But the screen is high enough, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm a fan of him in the toga, but only to sabotage him.
Hey guys, one question on that. Can I ask one more question before you go?
Leslie, you're gonna get a red card if you push me beyond 30 minutes. But you got the last question.
Okay. Any difference between B2B and B2C in video production or video how-to or any of the approaches?
B2P.
Yeah, it works either way. I would say most of my clients are B2B, and we're having great success. But I would say if there's a bigger opportunity on B2C, okay, there really is, because there's so many consumers on YouTube, and so again, there's success in both. And if you're B2C, I'd say the opportunity is even bigger.
Nate, thank you for your time today. You know what I realized? Can you believe this? I actually didn't even record. I've even forgot to record this, but it is about